Hey there, weary dreamer, and welcome to another gentle wander through the dusty paths of history. As you settle into the quiet hush of your night, let's leave behind the glow of screens and step into the sun-baked fields of ancient Greece, where the weight of the world rested on the shoulders of the forgotten. Imagine yourself as a peasant in the shadow of the Acropolis, around 500 BCE, your hands calloused from the soil, your back bent under an unyielding sun. The life of a Greek peasant wasn't the glory of philosophers or warriors, it was a grind of back-breaking labor, meager meals, and a world where rights were as scarce as rain in summer. This tale of quiet suffering, told softly to ease you toward slumber, uncovers the hardships that shaped their days. If you feel inclined, share in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is. It's a small delight to connect with our scattered community of history whisperers. And if these stories help you drift off, a like or subscribe would keep us exploring more shadowed corners of the past. Now, picture the dry hills of Attica, where olive trees twist under a relentless sky, and you rise before dawn in a simple hut of mud and thatch. The peasant's world was one of endless toil, poor nourishment, and subjugation to the elite, a cycle as unchanging as the seasons. Let's walk this path, step by weary step, through the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The pre-dawn air is cool and heavy, carrying the faint scent of dry earth and olive trees as you stir awake in a cramped, mud-brick hut in Attica. Around 500 BCE, you're a peasant in ancient Greece, your life a relentless cycle of labor and want, far from the marble temples and philosophical debates of Athens. The world is still dark, the stars fading above the rugged hills, but sleep is a luxury you can't afford. Your bed is a thin reed mat on a dirt floor, shared with your family, perhaps a wife, 2 children, and an aging parent huddled close. For warmth, the hut's walls, rough and uneven, are patched with straw and clay, their cracks letting in the chill. A faint bleat from the goats tethered outside pierces the quiet, mingling with the soft snores of your kin and the distant crow of a rooster. This is no life of glory, it's one of back-breaking work, meager sustenance, and no rights, where every day begins with the weight of survival. Let's step into this humble world, feel the dust under your feet, and trace the first moments of a peasant's grueling existence. You rise, your body stiff from the hard floor, your back aching from yesterday's toil in the fields. The hut is small, barely 10 paces across, its single room serving as bedroom, kitchen, and stable. A low hearth smolders in the center, its embers casting a faint glow, the air thick with the smell of charred wood and damp straw. Your family stirs, a child whimpers. Your wife shifts to tend the fire, her hands rough from years of grinding barley. The goats, tethered in a corner, shuffle and bleat, their musk blending with the earthy scent of the clay walls. A clay jug of water sits nearby, its contents tepid and gritty, drawn yesterday from a spring a mile away. You splash your face, the cold stinging your skin, and pull on a coarse wool tunic, its fibers worn thin, patched with scraps from older garments. A woven belt, frayed but sturdy, holds it in place, and your feet slip into sandals, their leather cracked from endless walks across rocky paths. The hut's interior is sparse, its furnishings a reflection of your poverty. A wooden chest holds a few possessions: spare tunic, a clay bowl, a flint knife. A loom leans against the wall, its warp threads taut, where your wife weaves cloth when the fields allow. Baskets of barley and olives, your last stores, are tucked in a corner, guarded like treasure against mice or hunger. The roof, thatched with straw, leaks in heavy rains, and the single window a hole covered with a tattered clothlets in a sliver of gray light. You share this space with animals and family, the boundaries blurred by necessity. The goats provide milk, their warmth, a comfort in winter. But their presence fills the air with a sour tang, and their droppings mingle with the dirt floor, swept daily but never clean. Outside, the world is waking, the hills of Attica stretching under a sky streaked with dawn. The village a cluster of similar hutsums with early risers, a neighbor hauling water, a child herding geese, the faint clink of a blacksmith's hammer from a wealthier home. The air carries the scent of dry grass and distant olive groves, but also the faint stench of refuse piled beyond the village where waste is left to rot. You step out, the ground hard underfoot, scattered with pebbles that bite through your sandals. The fields wait, their rocky soil a constant adversary, demanding your labor from dawn to dusk. You're a farmer, not by choice, but by birth, tied to this land by tradition and survival, your life dictated by the seasons and the whims of the elite who own more than you'll ever touch. Your family depends on you, their faces a quiet weight. Your wife, her hair tied back with a cord, needs barley dough for flatbread, her hands moving with practiced weariness. Your children, a boy of 8 and a girl of 5, are already tasked fetching, kindling, feeding the goats, learning early the grind of this life. Your mother, her joints swollen from years of toil, mends a basket, her eyes dim but sharp with worry. Hunger is a constant shadow. Last year's harvest was poor, the barley scant, the olives shriveled by drought. The stores are low, and winter looms, its threat as real as the landlord's demand for a share of your crop. You've seen families starve, their children wasting, their huts abandoned, and the fear drives you forward, each day a fight to keep them fed. The morning's chores begin before the sun crests the hills. You check the goats, their ribs visible under matted fur, and milk, the one still producing, the liquid thin but vital. The boy follows, carrying a clay pot, his small hands trembling with the weight. You fetch water from the spring, a miles. Walk over rocky paths, the jug strap cutting into your shoulder. The stream is low, its banks muddy, and you filter the water through a cloth, knowing sickness lurks in its depths. Back at the hut, you repair a wooden plow, its blade dull from breaking clods, your hands splintered from the rough handle. The tools are crude wood and bone. No iron for a man like you, and every task feels heavier for it. The labor, a constant reminder of your place in this world. The sensory weight of this life is unrelenting. The air is dry, dust clinging to your skin, the scent of earth and straw, a constant undertone. The hut's dimness presses in, its air heavy with smoke and musk, the faint warmth of the hearth, a fleeting comfort. Sounds surround you, the goat's bleats, your wife's soft hum, the distant shouts of neighbors starting their day. Your stomach growls, the taste of last night's barley porridge lingering. The ground underfoot is hard, its rocks bruising your feet, and the weight of your tunic, damp with sweat even, in the cool dawn, pulls at you. The lack of rights shapes every moment. You're a free man, but only just. Your life bound to the land and the aristocrats who claim it. The city-state of Athens, with its assemblies and philosophers, is a distant dream. You have no voice in its councils, no claim to its justice. The landlord, a wealthy citizen, demands a third of your crop, his men quick to seize more if you falter. Debt is a specter borrowing for seeds or tools could mean enslavement, your freedom sold to settle what you owe. You've seen neighbors vanish, their families torn apart, their huts taken by those with power. The law offers no protection. Magistrates serve the elite, their rulings a reminder of your place beneath their notice. Above only slaves, the emotional toll is a quiet ache. You dream of a better harvest, of enough grain to fill the baskets. But the land is unforgiving, its soil rocky, its rains scarce. Your children's faces, thin and hopeful, drive you to work through exhaustion, but fear lingers. What if the crop fails again? The village offers community-shared songs at festivals. A neighbor's help with a broken fence, but it's a fragile bond, strained by hunger and competition for scant resources. You're alone in your struggle, your worth measured in grain, and obedience, your name unknown beyond these hills. As the sun rises, painting the sky gold, you head to the fields, your family trailing behind. The day's labor waits, plowing, sowing, praying for rain that may not come. The hut, with its smells of earth and smoke, its crowded warmth, is your only refuge, but it's no sanctuary. Just a pause before the grind begins again. The campaign of survival stretches ahead, its perils hunger, debt, diseases real as any warrior's battle. For now, you grip the plow, your hands steady despite the pain, your heart carrying a quiet defiance that refuses to break, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The first light of dawn creeps over the dry hills of Attica, casting a pale glow across your mud brick hut, its rough walls still cloaked in shadow. It's around 500 BCE, and you're a peasant in ancient Greece, your life a ceaseless grind of labor under a relentless sun. The air carries the faint scent of dust and olive trees, mingling with the musky warmth of goats tethered outside your cramped home. You've just risen from a red mat, your body stiff from the dirt floor. Your family stirring in the dimness, wife tending a smoldering hearth, children tasked with early chores, an elder weaving a basket with trembling hands. Hunger gnaws at you, the memory of last night's thin barley porridge, a bitter taste, but the fields wait, their rocky soil demanding your strength. Today, like every day, begins with preparation, gathering tools, tending livestock, hauling water, all before the real toil begins. This is no tale of glory, but a quiet struggle for survival, woven softly to ease you into dreams. You step outside, the ground hard under your cracked sandals, the cool air sharp against your skin. The villagers scatter of huts like your stirs with life. A neighbor's hammer clinks, a child chases a stray hen. The faint bleat of goats echoes from a nearby pen. Your tunic, coarse wool patched with scraps, clings to your frame, already damp with the morning's dew. The fields lie beyond the village, a patchwork of rocky plots where barley and olives fight to grow. Your tool's a wooden plow, its blade worn smooth, a bone-handled sickle, a wicker basketar stored in a lean-to beside the hut, their weight familiar but heavy in your calloused hands. You check the plow's yoke, tightening its leather straps. Knowing a broken tool could mean a day's lost work, a step closer to hunger. The goats, your family's lifeline, demand attention first. Their pen, a circle of stones and branches, holds 3 animals, their ribs stark under matted fur. You milk the one still producing, your fingers stiff as the thin stream fills a clay pot. It smells sour but vital. Your son, barely 8, follows, carrying a bundle of dry grass to feed them, his small frame bent under the load. The goats bleat, nudging your hands, their warmth a faint comfort against the dawn's chill. You check their hooves, pulling thorns from tender flesh, knowing a lame animal could mean no milk, no cheese, no chance to trade for grain. The pen's stench manure, damp strocklings, to you, a reminder of the blurred line between man and beast in this life of one. Water is your next task. A mile's trek to a spring, over paths strewn with rocks that bruise your feet. You sling a clay jug over your shoulder, its strap cutting into your skin, its weight growing heavier with each step. The spring, nestled in a rocky hollow, is low, its surface clouded with silt. You kneel, filling the jug, filtering it through a cloth, to catch the worst of the grit. The water's taste is earthy, tinged with minerals, but its life itself needed for drinking, cooking, washing the dust from your hands. The walk back is slower, the jug's weight straining your back. The paths incline, a test of endurance. You pass other villagers, their faces mirroring your own, lined with worry, eyes fixed on survival. A nod is all you exchange. Words are spared for necessity, not chatter. Back at the hut, your wife tends the hearth, coaxing flames from a few sticks to bake flatbread, the air thick with smoke and the faint sweetness of barley. Your daughter, 5 and thin, sweeps the dirt floor, her small hands clutching a bundle of twigs. You store the water, checking the other jug half-empty, enough for a day if you're careful. The fields call, but first you mend a broken basket, its reeds frayed from carrying olives. Your fingers, rough and splintered, work the straw, each not a small defiance against the poverty that binds you. The chieftain's landlord's looms nearby, its richer soil a taunt, its crops claimed by men who never touch a plow. You owe a third of your yield, a debt that haunts every seed you sow. The weather is a constant worry, its whims shaping your fate. The sky is clear now, but clouds on the horizon hint at rain or worse, drought. Last summer's heat cracked the earth, shriveling your barley, leaving your stores bare. A bad season could mean starvation, your children's faces gaunt, their cries unanswered. You check the sky, squinting against the rising sun, praying to Demeter for favor, though her blessings feel distant. The fields are unforgiving, their soil rocky, their yield meager, even in good years. You've seen neighbors lose everything to a flood or blight, their huts empty, their names forgotten. The fear drives you, each task a step to ward off ruin. The sensory weight of this life presses. The air is dry, dust coating your throat, the scent of earth and goat musk, a constant undertone. Your hands ache, calluses splitting as you grip the plow or jug, the pain a map of your labor. The hut's dimness lingers in your eyes, its smoke stinging, the faint warmth of the hearth, a fleeting comfort. Sounds surround you, the goat's bleats, the soft scrape of your wife's grinding stone. the distant shouts of villagers starting their day. Your stomach twists, the taste of yesterday's porridge, lingering, gritty, and unsatisfying. The ground underfoot is hard, its rocks jabbing through your sandals, and the weight of the jug pulls at your shoulders, a reminder of the day's toil ahead. The lack of rights shapes your every move. You're a free man, but the city-states, Lozathan's proud democracy, exclude you. The assembly, where citizens debate, is for those with wealth or lineage, not peasants scratching a living from barren soil. The landlord's men will come at harvest, their eyes cold as they claim your grain, leaving you to scrape by. Debt looms, a single bad year enough to bind you to servitude, your freedom sold to pay for seeds. You've seen it happen, families torn apart, their cries ignored by magistrates who serve the elite. Your voice is nothing, your life measured in labor and obedience, your worth tied to the crops you coax from the earth. The emotional toll is a quiet burden. You work for your family, their thin faces driving you through exhaustion, but fear is your shadow. What if the harvest fails? What if sickness claims your children, as it did others in the village? The community offers slivers of support, a neighbor's shared tool, a prayer at the village shrines, but hunger strains even those bonds, each family fighting its own battle. You're alone in your struggle, your dreams of a fuller life buried under the weight of necessity. Yet you move forward, your hands steady as you gather your tools, your heart carrying a stubborn will to endure. As the sun climbs, you head to the fields, your family trailing behind your son with a basket, your wife with a sickle. The plow waits, its wooden blade a challenge, the rocky soil a foe as real as any warrior's enemy. The day's labor stretches ahead, a test of strength and hope in a world that offers neither freely. For now, you grip the plow's handle, your feet firm on the earth, your heart beating with a quiet defiance that refuses to break, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The sun climbs higher over the rugged hills of Attica, its heat already pressing down as you trudge toward your small plot of land. Around 500 BCE, you're a peasant in ancient Greece, your life a grueling cycle of labor under an unforgiving sky. Your mud brick hut, left behind at dawn, fades into the distance, its smoky warmth replaced by the dust and sweat of the fields. Your hands, calloused and cracked, grip a wooden plow, its blade worn dull from years of battling rocky soil. Your family trails behind your wife, carrying a sickle, your young son clutching a basket for weeds, their faces set with the same weary determination. The air is dry, thick with the scent of parched earth and sparse olive trees, the faint buzz of insects, a constant hum. The fields are your battleground, their barren soil a relentless foe that yields little despite your toil. This is no tale of triumph, but a story of back-breaking work, woven softly to lull you toward slumber. You reach your plot, a patchwork of rocky earth, barely distinguishable from the wild hills beyond. The soil is thin, studded with stones that blunt your plow and defy your efforts. You yoke the plow to a gaunt ox, its ribs stark under matted hide, its strength as limited as your own. The beast snorts, its breath clouding in the morning air, and you guide it forward, the plow's blade scraping against rock with a grating screech. Each step is a struggle, the wooden handle digging into your palms, your shoulders straining as you lean into the task. The sun beats down, sweat stinging your eyes, dust coating your throat, until every breath feels gritty. Your tunic, coarse and patched, clings to your skin, heavy with perspiration, while your sandals offer little protection from the sharp stones underfoot. The work is relentless, the plow catching on roots and rocks, each jolt jarring your spine. You pause to break clods with your hands, the soil crumbling dryly, its fertility leached by years of overuse. Planting barley or wheat is a gamble. Seeds are scarce, saved from last year's meager harvest, and the earth is stingy, its yield. Threatened by drought or flood, you scatter the grains, your fingers trembling from effort, knowing a single bad season could mean starvation. Olive trees dot the field, their gnarled branches promising fruit, but they're finicky, their yield years away and easily ruined by pests or heat. You check their roots, pulling weeds that steal what little water the soil holds. Your back aching as you bend low, the sun scorching your neck. The physical toll is brutal. Your hands blister, the calluses splitting, blood mixing with dirt as you grip the plow. Your back screams, each movement a reminder of years spent bending over fields. The heat is oppressive, your head pounding from thirst, the clay jug of water back at the hut, too far to fetch. You've seen men collapse under this labor sunstroke, claiming the young, old injuries crippling the old. Your ox falters, its steps slow, and you coax it with a hoarse whisper, knowing it's as close to breaking as you are. The fields, rocks bruise your feet, the thorns of wild plants prick your skin, and the dust settles in your lungs. Each cough a small betrayal of your body's limits. The risk of crop failure looms large. The soil, overworked and poor, yields barely enough to feed your family, let alone pay the landlord's shira, third of your crop, demanded without mercy. Last year's drought left your stores nearly empty, the memory of your children's hungry eyes driving you to push harder. You've seen fields ruined by locusts, their buzzing swarms stripping barley in hours, or by rains that turn soil to mud, drowning seeds before they sprout. The gods Demeter, Zusar, invoked in desperate prayers, but their favor feels distant, their altars far from your reach. You scatter offerings of grain you can't spare, hoping for a harvest that might not come, the fear of famine a constant. Weight, the sensory weight of this life, is crushing. The air is dry, dust rising with each step, coating your skin and stinging your eyes. The sun's heat is a physical force, burning your shoulders, the sweat pooling at your brow. The field smells of earth and crushed weeds, the faint sweetness of olive leaves, undercut by the sour temps of your own exhaustion. Sounds surround eutha-oxes, labored breathing, the plows scrape, the distant cry of a hawk circling above. Your hands ache, the wooden handle rough against raw skin, the blisters a map of your toil. The taste of dust lingers, your throat parched, the memory of this morning's watery porridge, a faint, gritty echo. The ground underfoot is uneven, each rock a small betrayal. Jabbing through your sandals, the lack of rights deepens the misery. You're a free man, but only in name. The land you work belongs to an aristocrat, his wealth built on your sweat. His men will come at harvest, their eyes cold as they claim their share, leaving you to scrape by. You have no voice in Athens. assembly, no claim to its laws. The elite debate democracy while you toil your existence unnoticed. Debt is a specter a bad harvest could force you to borrow, and failure to repay means servitude, your freedom sold to settle a debt. You've seen neighbors vanish, their families broken, their huts taken. The fear of losing what little you have drives you to work through pain, each furrow a defiance against ruin. The emotional toll is a quiet ache. Your family's survival rests on these fields, their thin faces a constant spur. Your wife labors beside you, her sickle flashing as she clears weeds, her silence heavy with shared worry. Your son, too young for such work, pulls stones from the soil, his small hands bleeding. You dream of a bountiful harvest, of baskets filled with grain. But the reality is, starkeach seed sown is a hope that might betray you. The village offers slivers of supporta shared prayer, a neighbor's ox lent for a day, but competition for scarce resources strains even those bonds. You're alone in your struggle, your worth measured in barley and obedience, your name unknown beyond these hills. As noon approaches, the sun is a merciless blaze, the field a sea of dust and rock. You pause, wiping sweat from your brow, your back bent like the olive trees around you. The ox pants, its strength fading, and you give it a moment's rest, knowing you'll work until dusk. The fields stretch ahead, their demands unending. The harvest, for now you grip the plow, your hands steady despite the pain, your heart carrying a stubborn will to endure, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The sun hangs high over the parched hills of Attica. Around 500 BCE, you're a peasant in ancient Greece. Your life a grueling cycle of labor under a sky that offers no mercy. The harvest season has arrived, a fleeting moment of hope shadowed by exhaustion and fear. You stand in your small plot, your hands raw from days of plowing, your back bent from breaking clods in barren soil. Your mud brick hut, with its smoky hearth and crowded family, is a distant thought as you grip a bone-handled sickle, its edge dull but sharp enough for the task. Your wife works nearby, her hands moving swiftly through stalks of barley, while your young son gathers the cut grain, his small frame straining under the weight. The air is thick with dust and the sharp scent of crushed stalks, the buzz of insects, a constant drone. This is no season of bounty, but one of back-breaking hardship, where every stalk reaped is a battle against hunger and loss, woven softly to guide you toward slumber. You move through the field. The stalks are sparse, their heads thin from a dry spring, the yield barely enough to feed your family, let alone pay the landlord's share. The ground is uneven, strewn with rocks that catch your sandals, bruising your feet. Sweat streams down your face, stinging your eyes. Your tunic, soaked and heavy, its coarse wool chafing your skin. The sun is a merciless weight, scorching your neck and shoulders, your head pounding from thirst. You pause to sip, the earthy taste lingering. The barley must be cut before storms or pests claim it, but the work is slow, the sickle's dull edge forcing you to hack repeatedly. Thorns from wild plants prick your hands, drawing blood that mixes with dirt, the wounds stinging with every grip. Insects swarm, their bites raising welts on your arms, their buzzing a maddening hum. Your wife, her hair tied back with a frayed cord, moves with grim focus, her sickle flashing, but her face is drawn, her strength waning. Your son stumbles, his basket heavy with grain, his small hands scratched from gathering stalks. You urge him on, your voice hoarse, knowing every bundle counts, every loss a step closer to starvation. The physical toll is crushing your back, aches, each bend a sharp pain from years of labor, your spine protesting as you stoop to cut low stalks. Your arms burn, the sickle's weight growing heavier with each swing, your muscles trembling from exhaustion. Blisters split on your palms, the raw skin stinging with sweat and dirt. The heat is suffocating, your breath short, your vision blurring as the sun climbs higher. You've seen men fall during harvest, their bodies giving out under the strained sunstroke, claiming the young, old injuries flaring in the old. Your wife's cough, dry and persistent, worries you, a sign of dust in her lungs or worse. Your son, too young for such work, moves slower now, his small frame pushed beyond its limits. The fear of loss hangs heavy. A sudden storm could ruin the crop, rain turning the barley to rot, or locusts could descend, their swarms stripping the field in hours. You've seen it happen, neighbors left with nothing, their families begging, their huts abandoned. Last year's drought shrank your yield, leaving your stores nearly empty, your children's faces gaunt with hunger. The landlord's shira, third of your crop looms like a specter, his men ready to claim it, their eyes cold as they measure your work. What's left must feed your family through winter, a season of scarcity when even weeds are scarce. You pray to Demeter, scattering a handful of grain as an offering, but the gods feel distant, their altars far from your dusty plot. Olive trees, scattered across the field, offer another challenge. Their fruit, still green, must be picked carefully, each one a small hope for oil or trade. You climb a gnarled trunk, your hands gripping rough bark, thorns scratching your legs. The olives are small, many shriveled by heat, and the work is slow, your fingers aching as you fill a basket. A single misstep could mean a fall, a broken bone, or a ruined crop if the fruit is bruised. The fear of failure drives you, each olive a fragile promise, each drop of sweat a payment for survival. The sensory weight of this life is relentless. The scent of barley stalks, sharp and green, mixes with the sour stem of your sweat and the faint sweetness of distant olives. The sun's heat is a physical force, burning your skin, the sweat pooling at your brow. Sounds surround you, the sickles scrape, your wife's cough, the rustle of grain as your son gathers it, the hum of insects circling your head. Your hands throb, the sickle's handle rough against raw skin, the blisters a map of your toil. The taste of dust lingers, your throat parched, the memory of morning's porridge, a faint, gritty echo. The ground is hard, its rocks jabbing through your sandals, each step a small agony. The lack of rights deepens the hardship. You're a free man, but the land isn't yours. The aristocrat who owns it demands his share, his power unchallenged by Athens' distant laws. You have no voice in the assembly, no claim to justice. The elite debate while you toil your existence, a footnote to their glory. Debt is a constant threat. Poor harvest could force you to borrow, and failure to repay means servitude. Your family sold to settle the debt. You've seen neighbors vanish, their cries ignored, their huts taken by those with power. The fear of losing everything drives you to work through pain, each stalk a defiance against ruin, each bundle a shield against starvation. The emotional toll is a heavy burden. Your family's survival rests on this harvest, their thin faces, a spur through your exhaustion. Your wife's strength, like yours, is fading, her cough a quiet alarm. Your son, too young for such labor, works without complaint, but his eyes are dull, his childhood stolen by necessity. You dream of full baskets, of a winter without hunger, but the reality is stark, the yield is thin. The landlords share a theft you can't refuse. The village offers slivers of support, a shared prayer. You're alone in your struggle, your worth measured in barley and olives, your name unknown beyond these hills. As dusk falls, the field glows faintly, the sun sinking behind the hills. You pause, your back screaming, your hands bleeding, the sickle heavy in your grip. The barley is half cut, the olives half picked, the work stretching into tomorrow. Your wife wipes her brow, her face lined with fatigue, while your son slumps, his basket half full. The harvest is a fragile hope, its outcome uncertain, the threat of loss ever present. For now, you straighten, your hands steady despite the pain, your heart carrying a stubborn will to endure, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The sun dips low over the parched hills of Attica, casting long shadows across your small plot as you trudge back to your mud brick hut. Around 500 BCE, you're a peasant in ancient Greece, your body aching from the harvest's grueling labor, cutting barley with a dull sickle, picking olives from gnarled trees, your hands raw and bleeding. The air is heavy with dust and the faint scent of crushed stalks, the evening cool barely easing the heat that clings to your sweat-soaked tunic. Inside the hut, your family waits, your wife stirring a pot over a smoldering hearth, your children huddled near, their faces thin with hunger. The harvest, still ongoing, offers a glimmer of hope, but the reality of your diet is stark. Meager meals of barley porridge, a few olives, and rare scraps of cheese or fish, barely enough to sustain you. Hunger is a constant companion, weakening your body and spirit, its grip as relentless as the rocky fields. This tale of scarcity, woven softly, carries you toward the quiet of slumber. You step into the hut, its dim interior thick with the smell of smoke and damp earth, the faint musk of goats tethered in a corner. The hearth's embers glow weakly, casting flickering shadows on the clay walls, their cracks patched with straw. Your wife, her hands rough from grinding grain, stirs a pot of barley porridge, its thin, grayish mass bubbling slowly. The barley ground from last year's scant harvest is coarse, flecked with grit that catches in your teeth. You sit on the dirt floor, your back against the wall, your legs heavy from the day's toil. Your son, 8 and wiry, passes you a clay bowl, his eyes dull with fatigue, while your daughter, 5, clings to a tattered blanket, her stomach growling audibly. Your mother, her fingers gnarled, picks at a handful of olives, their bitterness a familiar taste. The meal is sparse, as always. The porridge, watered down to stretch the grain, is bland, its texture gritty, sticking to the roof of your mouth. You scoop it with a wooden spoon that tastes earthy and unsatisfying, each bite a reminder of the field's meager yield. A few olives, small and shriveled, add a sharp, oily temperature, their pits spit into the hearth. On rare days, there's a scrap of cheese hard and salty, traded for a basket of grain or a dried fish, its flesh tough, its smell lingering in the hut. Tonight, there's only porridge and olives, barely enough to dull the hunger that twists your gut. You chew slowly, savoring what little there is, knowing the next meal might be smaller still. The landlord's share, a third of your crop, looms, leaving you to scrape by on what remains. Hunger is a constant weight, sapping your strength and clouding your thoughts. Your body, worn from plowing and harvesting, craves more meat, bread, wine, but these are luxuries for the elite, not peasants like you. The barley, your staple, is low in nutrients, leaving you weak, your muscles aching beyond the labor's toll. Your wife's face is gaunt, her cough worsening, a sign of malnutrition or dust from the fields. Your children, growing but thin, tire quickly, their small bodies unable to bear the work forced upon them. You've seen hunger claim others' neighbors, children wasting, their eyes hollow, their deaths quiet in the village's shadows. The fear of starvation drives you, each meal a calculation of survival, each bite a defiance against the land's stinginess. The diet's monotony grinds at your spirit, day after day. It's porridge or flatbread, the barley ground by hand, its preparation stealing hours from your wife's rest. Olives, when plentiful, are a blessing, but their bitterness grows old, their oil a rare treat hoarded for trade. Vegetables, wild greens, or onions are scarce, foraged from the hills, or traded at a cost you can't afford. Wine, watered down and sour, is a rare sip at festivals, its warmth a fleeting escape. Meat is a dream, perhaps a goat kid at a festival, its flesh shared thinly, its taste a memory that haunts your hunger. Fish, caught by coastal kin, is a rare gift, its bones picked clean by your family's eager hands. The lack of variety dulls your senses, each meal a reminder of what you cannot have. The physical toll of this diet is relentless. Malnutrition weakens your bones, your teeth loosening in your gums, your vision blurring in the dim light. You've seen rickets in village children, their legs bowed, their growth stunted. Anemia saps your energy, making each step in the field heavier, your breath shorter. Your wife's hands tremble as she grinds grain, her strength fading, while your son's small frame struggles under baskets of olives. Sickness spreads, easily hunger lowers resistance, and a fever or flux could sweep through the hut, claiming the weakest. You've buried a child before. The memory a sharp pain, and the fear of losing another drives you to work through exhaustion, to coax every grain from the earth. The sensory weight of this life is crushing. The hut's air is thick with smoke, the porridge's faint steam mingling with the sour tang of olives and the musk of goats. Your hands, raw from the sickle, ache as you grip the bowl, the blisters stinging with each touch. The porridge's gritty texture clings to your tongue, its taste bland, the olive's sharpness a brief jolt. Sounds surround you, the hearth's crackle, your wife's soft cough, the children's quiet murmurs, the goat's restless bleats. The dirt floor is cold underfoot, its damp seeping through your sandals, and the dimness presses in. The hearth's glow, a frail defense against the dark. Your stomach twists, never full, the hunger a constant hum beneath the day's labor. The lack of rights deepens the misery. The landlord's men will come at harvest's end, claiming their share, leaving you with barely enough to survive winter. You have no voice in Athens' assembly, no power to challenge the elite who feast while you starve. Debt looms a bad year could force you to borrow, and failure to repay means servitude. Your family sold to settle the debt. You've seen neighbors vanish, their huts taken, their names erased. The fear of losing everything drives you to ration each grain, to work through hunger, to pray to gods who seem deaf to your pleas. The emotional toll is a quiet wound. Your family's thin faces are a daily spur, their hunger a mirror of your own. You share the porridge, giving your children the larger share, their small smiles a fleeting reward. Your wife's silence, her eyes fixed on the hearth, speaks of shared despair. The village offers slivers of support, a shared meal at a festival. A neighbor's condolence, but hunger strains even those bonds, each family guarding its own stores. You're alone in your struggle, your worth measured in grain, your dreams of a fuller life buried under necessity. Yet you endure, your hands steady as you pass the bowl, your heart carrying a stubborn will to survive. As night falls, the hut grows quiet, the hearth's embers fading. You lie on the reed mat, your family close, their breathing a soft rhythm. The hunger lingers, a dull ache, the next meal hours away. The harvest continues tomorrow, its outcome uncertain, the threat of famine ever present. For now, you close, your eyes, your body heavy, your heart defiant against the weight of scarcity, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The moon hangs low over the dry hills of Attica, casting a faint silver glow through the cracks of your mud brick hut. Around 500 BCE, you're a peasant in ancient Greece, your body weary from harvesting barley under a scorching sun, your hands raw from the sickle's grip. The air inside the hut is thick with the smoky scent of a dying hearth, the musky tang of goats in the corner, and the faint earthiness of stored olives. You sit on the dirt floor, your family gathered close, your wife mending a tattered tunic, your son and daughter curled on a reed mat, your aging mother humming softly as she sorts grain. Hunger lingers, the evening's thin porridge barely easing the ache in your gut, and the landlord's looming claim on your crop casts a shadow over tomorrow. Yet, in this cramped, dim space, your family and the village beyond offer fragile bonds, a flicker of warmth in a life of toil and want. This is no tale of triumph, but one of strained connections and shared struggle, woven gently to lull you toward slumber. The hut is your world, a single room barely 10 paces wide, its clay walls rough and patched with straw. Your family shares this space, your wife, her hands calloused from grinding barley, your son, 8, already hardened by fieldwork, your daughter, 5, clinging to a rag doll, and your mother, her joints swollen, her eyes dim but watchful. The goats, tethered in a corner, shuffle and bleat, their warmth a necessity in winter, their milk a rare sustenance. The air is heavy, the smoke from the hearth stinging your eyes, mingling with the sour smell of manure and the faint sweetness of olives stored in a clay jar. You share a reed mat for sleep, the dirt floor cold beneath, the closeness of bodies a comfort and a burden in the cramped space. Every breath, every movement is shared, your lives intertwined by necessity and survival. Family is both strength and strain. Your wife works beside you, her sickle flashing in the fields, her strength matching yours, despite her cough, a lingering worry. She kneads dough, weaves cloth, tends the goats, her labor endless, her silence heavy with shared fears. Your son, too young for such burdens, carries baskets of grain, his small hands scratched and bleeding, his childhood stolen by the fields. Your daughter helps as she can, fetching water or sweeping the floor, her thin frame a reminder of hunger's toll. Your mother, too frail to work, sorts grain or tells stories to the children, her voice a thread of continuity in a life of uncertainty. You see their faces, gaunt, tired, yet bound to you on. They drive you to rise each dawn, to face the fields, despite exhaustion, to fight for their survival. The emotional weight of family is a constant pull. You labor for them, your hands raw, your back bent, knowing a failed harvest could mean their hunger, their sickness, their loss. You've buried a child before, a fever claiming them in a winter of scarcity, the memory a sharp pain that never fades. Infant mortality haunts the village half. The children born don't reach adulthood, their small graves unmarked beyond the hills. You watch your son stumble under a basket's weight, your daughter's eyes dull with hunger and fear what another lean year might bring. Yet there are moments of warmth, a shared glance with your wife, her hand brushing yours, your son's rare laugh as he chases a goat, your mother's stories of better days, kindling hope in the dark. The village beyond offers a fragile community, a network of huts like yours scattered across the hills. Neighbors share your struggle, men plowing fields, women grinding grain, children herding livestock, each family fighting the same battle against hunger and debt. You know their names, Nikias, whose ox you borrowed last spring, Irene, who shared olives when your stores ran low. The village square, a patch of packed earth, is where you gathered trading tools, bartering grain, or praying at a small shrine to Demeter. These bonds are vital. A shared plow or a lent hand at harvest, the difference between survival and ruin. Yet competition strains them scarce water, limited grazing land, and the landlord's demands pit families against each other, each guarding their own meager stores. The sensory weight of this life is heavy. The hut's air is thick, smoke curling from the hearth, blending with the musk of goats and the earthy scent of clay. Your hands raw from the sickle ache as you pass a bowl of olives, the blisters stinging with each touch. The porridge's gritty taste lingers, its blandness a reminder of hunger's grip. Sounds surround you, the hearth's crackle, the goat's bleats, your wife's soft hum, the children's quiet breaths. The dirt floor is cold, seeping through the reed mat, chilling your bones as you sit. The dimness presses in, the hearth's glow a frail light. The night outside, whispering of frost or rain that could ruin your crop. The lack of rights shapes every bond. You're a free man, but the landlord's power looms, his men ready to claim a third of your grain, leaving you to ration what remains. Athens' democracy is a distant myth. You have no voice in its assembly, no claim to its justice. Debt is a specter. Borrowing for seeds could mean servitude, your family sold to settle the debt. You've seen neighbors vanish, their huts taken, their children bound to labor for the elite. The fear of loss binds you closer to your family, but it isolates you to your struggle, yours alone. The village's support fleeting when survival is at stake. The community's rituals offer rare connection, at harvest's end, you might join a festival, perhaps the Thesmophoria, honoring Demeter, where villagers share wine and flatbread, their voices rising in song. These moments are brief, the wine watered down, the food sparse, but they kindle a spark of belonging. You stand with Nicias, swapping tales of stubborn oxen, or watch your son play with other children, their laughter a fleeting defiance of hunger. Yet the return to toil is swift, the festival's warmth fading as you face the fields again. The landlord's shadow ever present. The emotional toll is a quiet ache. Your family is your reason to endure, their faces driving you through pain, but their suffering mirrors yours. You give your children the larger share of porridge, their small smiles a fragile reward. Your wife's cough, your mother's frailty, your son's exhaustion, they weigh on you, each a reminder of what you could lose. The village offers slivers of hope, a shared prayer, a neighbor's kindness, but hunger and debt strain even those ties. You're alone in your fight, your worth measured in grain, your dreams buried under necessity. Yet you hold your family close, their warmth a shield against despair, your heart carrying a stubborn will to endure. As night deepens, the hut grows still, the hearth's embers fading. You lie on the mat, your family's breathing a soft rhythm, the goats quiet in their corner. The harvest continues tomorrow, its outcome uncertain, the threat of hunger ever present. For now, you close your eyes, your body heavy, your heart defiant against the weight of struggle, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The stars glimmer faintly through the cracks of your mud brick hut, their light a distant promise in the still night of Attica. Around 500 BCE, you're a peasant in ancient Greece, your body worn from harvesting barley, your hands raw from the sickle's grip, your back aching from days bent over rocky fields. Inside, the hut is dim, the hearth's embers casting a weak glow, the air heavy with smoke, goat musk, and the earthy scent of stored grain. Your family sleeps nearby, your wife curled on a reed mat, your children huddled close, your aging mother's soft breaths mingling with the goat's faint bleats. Beyond the hut, the world belongs to the elite landlords, aristocrats. As a peasant, you have no rights, no voice, your life bound to their will, your labor fueling their wealth. This tale of subjugation, woven softly, carries you toward the quiet of slumber. You lie awake, the dirt floor cold beneath the mat, your mind heavy with the day's toil and the landlord's looming claim. The elite own the land you work, their estates, sprawling across richer soils, their villas gleaming with marble while your hut crumbles. The landlord, a citizen of Athens, demands a third of your crop. His men due to arrive at harvest's end, their eyes cold as they weigh your barley. You're a free man in name, but freedom is a hollow word when your survival hinges on their mercy. Athens' famed democracy, celebrated in the city's assembly, excludes you only men with wealth or lineage vote, their debates shaping laws that bind you without your say. Your life is labor, your worth measured in grain, your existence a shadow to their glory. The landlord's power is a constant weight. His men patrol the fields, ensuring you don't hide a single stalk, their presence a reminder of your place. Last year, when drought shrank your yield, they took their share anyway, leaving you with barely enough for winter. You've seen neighbors resist, their voices raised, only to face beatings or seizure of their remaining crop. The landlord's word is law in these hills. Magistrates in Athens serve men like him, their rulings favoring wealth over justice. You've heard of peasants accused of theft grain, taken to feed starving children, punished with fines they can't pay, their freedom sold to settle the debt. The fear of such a fate drives you to work through exhaustion, each furrow a plea to keep what little you have. Debt is a specter that haunts every season. Seeds, tools, or a new ox often require borrowing from the landlord or a wealthy neighbor. Their terms harsh, the interest crushing. A single bad harvest drought, locusts, or flood could trap you, the debt piling until you can't repay. The law allows enslavement for default, a fate you've seen claim others. Entire families vanish, sold to work in mines or distant estates, their huts taken, their names erased. You've borrowed once a small sack of barley to plant last spring, and the debt hangs over you, its weight as real as the rocks in your field. Each grain you sow is a gamble. Each stalk reaped a step toward freedom or ruin. The sensory weight of this life is relentless. The hut's air is thick, smoke curling from the hearth, blending with the sour temp of olives and the musky damp of goats. Your hands, raw from labor, ache as you shift on the mat, the blisters stinging with every move. The taste of tonight's porridge lingers, gritty and bland, a reminder of hunger's grip. Sounds surround you, the hearth's faint crackle, your wife's soft breathing, the children's murmurs, the goat's restless shuffle. The dirt floor is cold, seeping through the mat, chilling your bones. The dimness presses in, the embers glow a frail light against the dark. The night outside whispering of frost that could kill your crop. The lack of rights shapes every moment. You have no voice in Athens' assembly, no power to challenge the landlord's demands. The elite gather in the city, debating laws and wars, their voices carried by wealth and status. While you toil in silence, your existence unnoticed. The agora, where citizens trade and talk, is a world away. You've been there once, bartering olives for a tool, your presence ignored by men in fine cloaks. The law offers no protection. Disputes with the landlord are settled by his word, his men quick to enforce it with fists or worse. You've seen neighbors dragged away, their cries unheard, their families left to beg. The fear of losing your freedom, your family, your hut drives you to bow your head to offer the landlord's share without protest. The emotional toll is a quiet wound. Your family's survival rests on your labor, their thin faces a daily spur. You work for them, your wife's cough, your children's hunger. You dream of a harvest that fills your stores, of a life free from debt. But the reality is stark. The landlord's men will come, their sacks heavy with your grain, leaving you to ration what remains. The village offers slivers of shared prayer at the shrine, a neighbor's condolences, but each family fights its own battle, their own debts and fears keeping them apart. You're alone in your struggle, your worth tied to the barley you produce, your name unknown beyond. These hills dot the community's bonds, though strained, offer faint glimmers of defiance. At harvest's end, you might join neighbors at a festival, offering grain to Demeter, sharing a sip of sour wine. These moments are rare, the wine thin, the bread sparse, but they remind you of others who toil as you do. Nikias, a neighbor, might clap your shoulder, his own hands raw from plowing, and for a moment you're not alone. Yet the landlord's shadow looms, even here, his men watching, ensuring no grain is hidden. The festival ends, and you return to the fields, the weight of subjugation unchanged, the elite's power a chain you can't break. As dawn nears, the hut grows still, your family's breathing a soft rhythm. You lie on the mat, the cold seeping through, your body heavy with exhaustion. The harvest continues, its outcome uncertain. The landlord's claim a certainty. The elite's world at Thon's marble, its debates, its feasts is a distant dream. Your life a cycle of labor and submission. Yet you endure, your hands steady as you rise, your heart carrying a stubborn will to survive, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The dawn breaks slowly over the dry hills of Attica, its pale light filtering through the cracks of your mud brick hut. Around 500 BCE, you're a peasant in ancient Greece, your body aching from the harvest's relentless labor, your hands raw from cutting barley with a dull sickle. The hut is dim, the hearth's embers barely glowing, the air thick with the smoky tang of burnt wood, the musky scent of goats, and the faint earthiness of stored grain. Your family stirs your wife, mending a basket, your children curled on a reed mat, your aging mother sorting olives with trembling hands. The harvest, nearly complete, offers a fragile hope, but hunger lingers, the evening's thin porridge, a distant memory. Beyond the hut, the landlord's men loom, ready to claim their share, while the specter of debt hangs heavier still, a trap that could strip your freedom and tear your family apart. This is no tale of triumph, but one of poverty's cruel grip. Woven softly to guide you toward slumber, you sit on the dirt floor, your back against the rough clay wall, your tunic patched and damp with morning dew. The harvest has been meager, the barley stalks thin from a dry spring, the olives small and bitter. The landlord will take a third, leaving you with barely enough for winter. But debt is the true enemy. Last spring, a poor yield forced you to borrow a sack of barley seed from the landlord, a few coins from a wealthy neighbor to plant your field. The debt, with its crushing interest, is due at harvest's end, and the coins in your clay jar, hidden beneath the floor, are too few. The fear of default gnaws at you, a weight as real as the rocks in your field. For in this world, debt can mean enslavement, your life and family sold to settle what you owe. The cycle of debt is a trap woven into your existence. The land you work isn't yours. It belongs to an aristocrat whose estate sprawls across richer soils, seeds, tools, or an ox to replace one that died require borrowing. And the terms are brutal interest that doubles the debt in a year payable. In grain or labor, a single bad season drought, locusts, or flood can push you over the edge. You've seen it happen. Neighbors who borrowed for a plow only to lose their freedom when the crop failed. Their huts stand empty, their families scattered, some sold to mines, others to distant estates, their names erased from the village. You borrowed sparingly, but the debt grows. Each grain sown a gamble, each stalk reaped a step toward salvation or ruin. The threat of enslavement is a constant shadow. Athenian law, crafted by the elite, allows creditors to seize defaulters as slaves. You've witnessed it. A neighbor, Nicias, dragged from his hut last winter, his wife's cries echoing. as his children were bound to a merchant's service. His debt, a few sacks of grain, was a chain he couldn't break. The landlord's men are merciless, their eyes cold as they tally your yield, quick to report shortfalls to magistrates who serve wealth, not justice. Enslavement means more than labors, the loss of your family, your home, your name, your wife, your children, even your aging mother could be sold, their fates sealed by a debt you couldn't pay. The fear drives you to work through exhaustion, to hide a handful of grain, to pray to gods who seem deaf. The sensory weight of this life is crushing. The hut's air is heavy, smoke curling from the hearth, blending with the sour temp of olives and the musky damp of goats. Your hands, raw from the sickle, sting as you clutch a clay bowl, the blisters a map of your toil. The taste of last night's porridge lingers, gritty and bland, a reminder of hunger's grip. Sounds surround you, the hearth's faint crackle, your wife's soft sigh, the children's restless murmurs, the goat's bleats. The dirt floor is cold, seeping through the mat, chilling your bones as you sit. The dimness presses in, the embers glow, a frail light. The night outside whispering of frost that could ruin what little crop remains. The lack of rights deepens the trap. You're a free man in name, but Athens' democracy excludes you. The assembly, where citizens debate, is for those with wealth or lineage, not peasants bound to the land. You have no voice to challenge the landlord's demands, no claim to the laws that protect the elite. Magistrates, swayed by bribes or status, uphold the creditor's right to enslave, their rulings a wall you can't scale. The agora where deals are struck is a world away. You've bartered there once, your olives traded for a tool, your presence ignored by men in fine cloaks. The fear of debt shapes every choice to borrow or not, to hide grain or face the landlord's men, to risk everything for a chance at survival. The emotional toll is a quiet wound. Your family is your reason to endure, their thin faces driving you through pain. Your wife's hands tremble as she mends, her cough a constant worry, her strength fading under hunger's weight. Your son, 8, carries baskets beyond his strength, his childhood stolen by necessity. Your daughter, 5, clings to her rag doll, her eyes dull with hunger. Your mother, frail and bent, sorts olives, her stories of better days a faint spark. You've buried a child before, the memory a sharp pain, and the fear of losing another to hunger or debt keeps you awake. The thought of enslavement to your family, torn apart, sold to strangers haunts you, each debt a chain tightening around your heart. The village offers fragile support, but poverty strains even those bonds. Neighbors like Nikias, before his enslavement, shared a plow or a handful of grain, but each family guards its own stores, their own debts a mirror of yours. The village square, a patch of earth, hosts rare gatherings, prayers to Demeter. Shared sip of sour wine, but competition for water or grazing land breeds mistrust. You've helped a neighbor mend a fence, hoping for help in return, but hunger makes allies scarce. The landlord's men watch even these moments, ensuring no grain is hidden, their presence a reminder of the elite's power over your life. The community's rituals are a faint defiance. At harvest's end, you might join a festival, offering a pinch of grain to the gods, sharing flatbread with neighbors. The wine, watered down, is a brief warmth, the songs a fleeting escape. Yet the landlord's shadow looms, his men noting who attends, who might have grain to spare. The festival ends, and you return to the hut, the weight of debt unchanged, the threat of enslavement ever present. You hide a few coins, a desperate act, knowing discovery could mean a beating or worse. As night deepens, the hut grows still, your family's breathing a soft rhythm. You lie on the mat, the cold seeping through, your body heavy with exhaustion. The harvest nears its end. The landlord's men due soon, the debt a noose tightening with each passing day. Athens' glorious temples, its debates is a distant dream, your life a cycle of labor and fear. Yet you endure, your hands steady as you rise, your heart carrying a stubborn will to survive, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The twilight settles over the rugged hills of Attica, its dim light barely piercing the cracks of your mud brick hut. Around 500 BCE, you're a peasant in ancient Greece, your body worn from the harvest's grueling labor, your hands raw from the sickle, your back bent from years of plowing rocky fields. Inside the hut is a cramped haven, the hearth's embers casting a faint glow, the air heavy with smoke, the musky scent of goats, and the earthy temps of stored barley. Your family huddles close, your wife stirring a thin porridge, your children curled on a reed mat, your aging mother sorting olives with trembling hands. The harvest, nearly done, offers a sliver of hope, but hunger and debt loom. And now a deeper threat festers, the toll of toil and malnutrition on your health. Disease stalks your village, a silent killer that breaks bodies already weakened by labor and want. This tale of suffering, woven softly, carries you toward the quiet of slumber. You sit on the dirt floor, your legs heavy, your joints aching from days spent bending over barley stalks and olive trees. The labor has carved its mark on you, hands split and bleeding, a back that protests every move, shoulders stiff from hauling water and plowing fields. The sun's relentless heat has left its scars too, your skin burned and rough, your head pounding from hours without shade. Malnutrition gnaws deeper, your diet of barley porridge and sparse olives lacking the strength to sustain you. Your ribs are stark under your tunic, your energy fading, each task harder than the last. You've seen men falter under this burden, collapsing in the field, their bodies broken by toil, their lives cut short by ailments you can't name. Your wife's cough, dry and persistent, is a constant worry, its rattle echoing in the hut's dimness. She's thinner now, her strength sapped by hunger and endless work grinding grain, weaving cloth, tending goats. Your son, 8, carries baskets beyond his strength, his small frame showing signs of weakness, his legs thin and unsteady. Your daughter, 5, is pale, her eyes dull, her growth stunted by a diet too meager to nourish her. Your mother, her joints swollen, moves slowly, her body frail from years of labor and scarcity. Malnutrition fuels these ailments, anemia, sapping your energy, rickets bowing children's legs in the village, teeth loosening in gums, starved of nutrients. You feel it too, your vision blurring in the dim light, your breath short, your body betraying you despite your will to endure. Disease is a relentless foe, spreading through the village's crowded huts and filthy conditions. The spring you draw water from a mile away is often muddy, its surface clouded with silt that carries sickness, the flux a watery sickness that leaves men doubled over strikes without warning, claiming the weak in days. You've seen it. Take neighbors, their bodies wasting, their families left to mourn. Fevers burn through the village, worsened by hunger that lowers resistance. Last winter, a plague swept through, its coughs and chills sparing few. Your own child lost to its grip, the memory a sharp pain. Your wife's cough now raises that fear again, each rasp a reminder of how fragile your family is in this world. Of want, the lack of medicine deepens the misery. The elite in Athens may consult healers or priests, but for you, there's only folk remedies, herbs gathered from the hills, their bitterness a desperate hope. You crush mint or wild garlic, boiling them into a tea that soothes but rarely cures. Your mother whispers prayers to Asclepius, the healing god, but his temple is far, its offerings beyond your means. Wounds from the sickle or plow fester easily, the dirt and sweat breeding infection. Your arm scratched during harvest throbs, the skin red and swollen, and you clean it with a rag dipped in brackish water, praying it heals. You've seen men lose limbs to such wounds, their strength gone, their families left to starve. The sensory weight of this life is crushing. The hut's air is thick, smoke curling from the hearth, blending with the sour temp of olives and the musky damp of goats. Your hands, raw from labor, sting as you grip a clay bowl, the blisters burning with each touch. The porridge's gritty taste lingers, its blandness a reminder of hunger's grip. Sounds surround hearth's crackle, your wife's cough, the children's soft whimpers, the goat's restless bleats. The dirt floor is cold, seeping through the mat, chilling your bones as you sit. The dimness presses in, the embers glow a frail light. The night outside whispering a frost that could kill your crop or worsen your wife's sickness. The lack of rights compounds the suffering. You have no voice in Athens' assembly, no claim to the healers or resources the elite hoard. The landlord's men care nothing for your health, their eyes fixed on your grain, their demands unchanged by your family's weakness. Debt looms a bad harvest, could force you to borrow, and failure to repay means enslavement. Your family sold to settle the debt. You've seen neighbors vanish, their huts empty, their children bound to labor for the wealthy. The fear of losing them to sickness or debt drives you to work through pain, to ration each meal, to hide your wife's cough from prying eyes who might deem you unfit for labor. The village offers faint support, but poverty strains even those bonds. Neighbors share herbs or prayers, but each family fights its own battle against hunger and disease. Nicias, before his enslavement, gave you mint for a fever, but now his hut stands empty, a warning of what debt can bring. The village square, a patch of earth, hosts prayers to Demeter or Asclepius, but the gods seem distant, their altars bare of offerings you can't spare. A neighbor's wife, skilled with herbs, might tend your wounds, but her own children are sick, her resources thin. The community's shared suffering binds you, but it also isolates you, each family guarding its own survival. The emotional toll is a quiet wound. Your family's fragility, your wife's cough, your children's thinness, your mother's frailty drives you through exhaustion, but fear is your shadow. You've buried a child, the memory a scar, and the thought of losing another to fever or flux haunts you. Your wife's strength, your son's labor, your daughter's small smiles. They're your reason to endure, but their suffering mirrors yours. The village's losses weigh heavy, neighbors gone to plague, their graves unmarked. You dream of a harvest that fills your stores, of a winter without sickness. But the reality is stark. Disease and hunger are as certain as the landlord's claim. As night deepens, the hut grows still, your family's breathing a fragile rhythm. You lie on the mat, the cold seeping through, your body heavy with pain. The harvest nears its end, but sickness looms. Your wife's cough a warning, the threat of debt ever present. Athens' glorious temples, its healers is a distant dream. Your life a cycle of labor and suffering. Yet you endure, your hands steady as you rise, your heart carrying a stubborn will to survive, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The dawn breaks cold over the rugged hills of Attica, its pale light barely warming the frost-dusted ground outside your mud brick hut. Around 500 BCE, you're a peasant in ancient Greece, your body scarred from the harvest's grueling labor, your hands raw from the sickle, your back aching from years of plowing rocky fields. Inside, the hut is dim, the hearth's embers casting a faint glow, the air thick with smoke, goat musk, and the faint earthiness of stored barley. Your family stirs your wife, tending a thin porridge, your children curled on a reed mat, your aging mother sorting olives with trembling hands. The harvest, now nearly complete, offers a fragile hope, but hunger, debt, and disease loom, and nature's whims add a relentless threat. Winter floods, summer droughts, and the lean off-season turn every season into a battle, the elements as unforgiving as the landlord's demands. This tale of nature's cruelty, woven softly, carries you toward the quiet of slumber. You step outside, the air sharp with frost, your breath clouding as you pull your patched wool tunic tighter. The ground is hard, its rocks biting through your cracked sandals, the faint scent of damp earth and olive trees mingling with the chill. The fields, stripped of barley, lie barren, their soil cracked from a dry summer or sodden from recent rains. The harvest has ended, but nature offers no respite. Each season brings its own perils, threatening your crop, your family, your survival. Winter is coming, its cold, a looming shadow, but the memory of summer's heat and spring's floods lingers, each a reminder of the land's indifference. You check the hut's roof, its straw brittle, knowing a storm could tear it apart, leaving your family exposed. Winter's floods are a constant dread. Heavy rains turn the fields to mud, washing away seeds or drowning young shoots. Last winter, a torrent swept through the village, flooding your plot, the barley rotting before it could grow. You waded through knee-deep water, your hands numb, trying to save what you could, but the loss left your stores nearly empty, your children's faces gaunt. The landlord's men took their share anyway, their boots sinking in the mire as they claimed dry grain from wealthier fields. You've seen neighbors lose everything to floods, their huts crumbling, their families begging in the village square. The fear drives you to dig trenches around your field, your back screaming, your hands bleeding, a desperate bid to divert the next deluge. Summer's droughts are no less cruel. The sun, a merciless blaze, cracks the earth, turning it to dust that slips through your fingers. Months ago, you watched the barley wilt, its stalks yellowing under a cloudless sky. The spring's sparse rains, a distant memory. You carried water from the spring, a mile away, the jug strap cutting into your shoulder, but it wasn't enough. The olives shriveled, their oil a faint hope lost to heat. You've seen drought-starve villages, their wells dry, their crops dust, their people fleeing to cities only to find no mercy. The fear of another dry summer haunts you. Each seed sown a prayer to Demeter, each drop of water a treasure you can't spare. The off-season between planting and harvest is a time of desperation. With no crops to tend, you mend tools are broken, plow, a cracked sickle your hands, raw as you carve new handles from scarce wood. You seek work from wealthier farmers, hauling stones or repairing fences, earning a handful of grain or a coin. But the labor is grueling, the pay me. Some days you forage in the hills wild greens, roots, or berries risking snakes or thorns for a bitter meal. You've begged once, standing at a landlord's gate, your head bowed, your pride a casualty of hunger. The off-season stretches, its lean months, a test of endurance, your family's survival hinging on what little you can scrounge. The sensory weight of this life is relentless. The air is cold, frost rimming the hut's walls, the scent of damp, straw and goat musk heavy. Your hands, raw from labor, sting as you grip a tool, the blisters burning with each touch. The porridge's gritty taste lingers, its blandness a reminder of hunger's grip. Sounds surround you, the hearth's faint crackle, your wife's cough, the children's soft murmurs, the wind's howl outside. The dirt floor is icy, seeping through the mat, chilling your bones as you sit. The dimness presses in, the embers glow a frail light, the night whispering of storms that could flood your field or freeze your crop. The lack of rights deepens the misery. You have no voice in Athens' assembly, no power to challenge the landlord's demands, even when floods or droughts ruin your yield. The elite feast in the city, their tables heavy with meat and wine, while you ration barley to survive winter. Debt looms, a bad season could force you to borrow, and failure to repay means enslavement. Your family sold to settle the debt. You've seen neighbors vanish, their huts taken, their children bound to labor for the wealthy. The fear of losing everything drives you to work through pain, to hide grain from the landlord's men, to pray to gods who seem deaf to your pleas. The village offers faint support, but nature's cruelty strains even those bonds. Neighbors share stories of lost crops, their faces lined with the same fears. Nicaeus, before his enslavement, helped you shore up a fence against floods, but now his hut is empty, a victim of debt. The village square hosts prayers to Demeter, a pinch of grain offered, but the gods' favor feels distant, their altars bare of what you can't spare. A neighbor might lend a tool or a handful of roots, but hunger makes allies scarce, each family guarding its own survival. The community's shared suffering binds you, but it also isolates you. Each loss a reminder of your own fragility. The emotional toll is a quiet wound. Your family's survival rests on the land, their thin faces driving you through exhaustion. Your wife's cough worsens, your children's hunger a mirror of your own, your mother's frailty a constant worry. You dream of a bountiful harvest, of a winter with full stores, but nature's whims make every season a gamble. The memory of last winter's flood, of your child's fevered death, haunts you, each storm a threat to what remains. The village's losses, crops ruined, families broken echo your own fears, yet you endure. your hands steady as you mend a plow, your heart carrying a stubborn will to survive. As night deepens, the hut grows still, your family's breathing, a fragile rhythm. You lie on the mat, the cold seeping through, your body heavy with pain. The harvest is stored, but winter looms, its floods or summer's droughts, a constant threat. Athens, glory its temples, its feasts is a distant dream, your life a cycle of labor and loss. Yet you rise, your hands steady, your heart defiant against nature's unforgiving cycle, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The dusk settles softly over the rugged hills of Attica, its fading light casting long shadows across your mud brick hut. Around 500 BCE, you're a peasant in ancient Greece, your body worn from the harvest's grueling labor, your hands raw from the sickle, your back bent from plowing rocky fields. Inside, the hut is dim, the hearth's embers glowing faintly, the air thick with smoke, the musky scent of goats, and the earthy temps of stored barley. Your family gathers close, your wife mending a tattered cloak, your children curled on a reed mat, your aging mother humming a prayer. The harvest is stored, but hunger, debt, and disease linger, and the landlord's men will soon claim their share. Yet tonight, a rare respite beckons, a village festival, perhaps the Thesmophoria or a local rite to Demeter, offering a fleeting escape from toil. These moments of song, wine, and shared bread are brief sparks of joy in a life of want, but the weight of drudgery waits just beyond. This tale of fragile reprieve, woven gently, carries you toward the quiet of slumber. You step outside, the air cool with evening, the scent of dry grass and olive trees mingling with the faint smoke of village hearths. Your tunic, patched and coarse, clings to your skin, damp from the day's sweat. Your sandals worn thin by rocky paths, the village squira patch of packed earth hums with life as neighbors gather. Their faces lined but softened by the promise of celebration. Torches flicker, their light dancing on mud brick walls. You carry a pinch of barley, an offering you can barely spare, and your wife brings a clay jug of sour wine, its contents watered down but precious, their thin frames a reminder of hunger's constant grip. The festival is a humble affair, far from the grand processions of Athens. The village women, led by an elder, chant prayers to Demeter, their voices low and rhythmic, asking for fertile fields and bountiful harvests. You join the men, offering your barley at the shrine, the grains slipping through your fingers like a prayer you can't afford. A neighbor, Irene, shares flatbread, its texture gritty but warm, baked from her own scarce stores. You break a piece, its taste earthy and fleeting, and pass it to your children, their small hands eager. A sip of wine follows, its sharp tempts a brief warmth in your throat, shared from a communal cup. The village musician, an old man with a lyre, strums a simple tune, its notes a fragile defiance against the silence of your daily grind. These moments are a rare escape, a chance to forget the field's rocky soil, the landlord's demands, the debt that threatens enslavement. You stand with Nikea's widow, her husband lost to debt, and share a quiet nod, her presence a reminder of shared loss. Your son laughs, chasing other children in a game of tag, their shouts echoing in the square. Your daughter clings to your wife, her rag doll tucked under her arm, her smile a spark that lights the dimness of your heart. The village binds you in these moments, men, swapping tales of stubborn oxen, women sharing stories of past harvests, the air alive with voices and the faint crackle of torches. For a moment, you're not alone. The weight of toil lifted by the warmth of community. Yet the joy is fleeting, tempered by reality. The bread is sparse, the wine thin, and the festival's offerings are meager few olives, a handful of figs, shared thinly among many. Your stomach growls, the single bite of bread no match for hunger's grip. The landlord's men linger at the square's edge, their eyes sharp, ensuring no grain is hidden. Their presence a reminder of your subjugation. The songs fade, the lyre's notes drown by the wind's low howl. You glance at your wife, her cough worse tonight, her face pale in the torchlight, and the fear of disease fever flux her turns, a shadow that no festival can banish. The sensory weight of this life presses close. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of smoke, dry earth, and the faint sweetness of figs. Your hands, raw from labor, sting as you hold the bread, the blisters burning with each touch. The wine's sharp taste lingers, its warmth fleeting, the bread's grittiness a reminder of scarcity. Sounds surround Eutha, women's chants, the lyre's soft strum, the children's laughter. The winds whisper through olive trees. The ground is hard underfoot, its dust clinging to your sandals, and the torchlight flickers, casting shadows that blur the faces around you. The cold bites, your tunic offering little protection, the hunger a constant ache beneath the festivals. Brief glow, the lack of rights taints even this respite. You have no voice in Athens' assembly, no power to challenge the landlord's claim on your crop. The elite feast in the city, their festivals lavish with meat and wine, while you share crumbs in a dusty square. Debt looms, a bad harvest could force you to borrow, and failure to repay means enslavement. Your family sold to settle the debt. The landlord's men watch, their presence a chain you can't break, their power a wall between you and the city's glory. You've seen neighbors vanish, their huts empty, their festival songs silenced, the fear of losing everything your family, your home dims the torchlight. Each note of the lyre a reminder of what you cannot keep. The emotional toll is a quiet wound. Your family's presence, your wife's tired smile, your children's fleeting joy, your mother's soft prayers, a spark that drives you through toil. Yet their fragility haunts you, your wife's cough, your children's thinness, your mother's frailty. You share the bread, giving them the larger share, their small smiles, a fragile reward. The village offers a moment of belonging, but poverty strains even these bonds. Each family guards its stores, their own fears mirroring yours. You dream of a festival with full tables, of a life free from debt and hunger. But the reality is stark. The fields wait, the landlord's men loom, and tomorrow's toil will erase tonight's joy. As the festival ends, the square empties, the torches snuffed, the lyre silent. You lead your family back to the hut, the cold deepening, the stars hidden by clouds. The hut's dimness welcomes you, the hearth's embers fading, the air heavy with smoke and want. You lie on the mat, your family's breathing a soft rhythm, the memory of laughter a faint echo. The fields call tomorrow, their demands unrelenting, the threat of debt and disease ever present. Athens' glory, its temples, its feasts is a distant dream, your life a cycle of labor and loss. You endure, your heart carrying a stubborn will to survive, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant. The night wraps tightly around your mud brick hut in the hills of Attica, its stillness broken only by the faint crackle of the hearth's dying embers. Around 500 BCE, you're a peasant in ancient Greece, your body worn from the harvests, grueling labor, your hands raw from the sickle, your back bent from years of plowing rocky fields. Inside, the hut is dim, the air heavy with smoke, the musky scent of goats, and the earthy temps of stored barley. Your family sleeps close, your wife's soft breathing, your children curled on a reed mat, your aging mother's faint hum fading into silence. The harvest is stored, a meager yield that barely fends off hunger, with the landlord's men soon to claim their share. Debt, disease, and nature's whims loom. But tonight, as you lie on the cold dirt floor, you reflect on your life's quiet endurancy legacy, unrecorded, yet vital to the glory of Greece. This tale of forgotten resilience, woven softly, carries you toward the quiet of slumber. You shift on the mat, the ground's chill seeping through, your joints aching from a lifetime of toil. Your hands, calloused and scarred, rest heavy, each blister a testament to years spent breaking rocky soil, sowing barley and picking olives. The harvest, now tucked in clay jars, is your family's lifeline, but it's also the foundation of Athens' grandeur. Your grain feeds the city's warriors, its philosophers, its sculptors crafting marble statues that will stand for centuries. Yet your name is absent from their stories, your labor a silent pulse beneath their glory. The temples on the Acropolis, the ships that sail to war, the markets buzzing with trade all rest on the sweat of peasants like you, whose lives are forgotten in the shadow of heroes. Your existence is a cycle of survival. Each day, a battle against the land's stinginess and the elite's demands. You've plowed fields until your back screamed, carried water until your shoulders bled, rationed porridge to quiet your children's hunger. The landlord takes a third of your crop, his men's eyes cold as they weigh your grain, leaving you to scrape through winter. Debt threatens enslavement, a bad harvest away, and disease stalks your family, your wife's cough, your children's thinness, the memory of a lost child, a scar that never fades. Nature's wrath floods, droughts tests you, each season a gamble with survival. Yet you endure, your hands steady, your heart defiant, coaxing life from barren soil to keep your family alive. The village, a cluster of huts like yours, shares your struggle. Neighbors, like Nikias, lost to debt, or Erin, who shared olives when your stores ran low. You've prayed together at the shrine to Demeter, shared sour wine at festivals, your voices rising in songs that defy hunger's grip. These bonds, though strained by scarcity, are a quiet strength, a reminder that you're not alone. Yet, the elite's world, Athens' assembly, its laws, its feasts, excludes you. You have no voice, no rights, your worth measured in grain, your name unknown beyond these hills. The sagas of gods and heroes, carved in stone or sung in halls, omit the peasants whose labor built their world. You're suffering a footnote to their triumphs. The sensory weight of this life lingers. The hut's air is thick, smoke curling from the hearth, blending with the sour Thames of olives and the musky damp of goats. Your hands ache, raw from labor, the blisters stinging as you shift on the mat. The porridge's gritty taste lingers, its blandness a reminder of hunger's constant presence. Sounds surround Euthahearth's faint crackle, your wife's soft cough, the children's quiet breaths, the goat's restless bleats. The dirt floor is cold, chilling your bones, the dimness pressing in, the embers glow, a frail light against the dark. The night outside whispers of frost, a threat to the crop you fought to save. The emotional toll is a quiet ache. Your family's survival, your wife's strength, your children's small smiles, your mother's frail wisdom drives you through pain. You've buried a child, the memory a wound, and fear losing another to hunger or fever. The villages, losses, neighbors gone to debt, or plague-mere your own, their graves unmarked, their stories unsung. You dream of a bountiful harvest, of a life free from debt. But the reality is stark. The landlord's men will come, the fields will demand more, and nature's whims will test you again. Yet your endurance is a legacy, a silent force that feeds, a civilization, even if it forgets you. Reflecting on this life, you see its echoes in the modern world. Your struggle laboring for survival, bound by forces beyond your control, resonates with those who toil unseen today. Their work sustaining, others' glory. The bread you bake, the olives you press, are the roots of a culture that still shapes the world. From democracy's ideals to the stories of gods etched in stone. Your life, though unrecorded, is a testament to resilience, a quiet defiance that carries through time. The modern world, with its abundance and ease, owes a debt to your toil. Its comforts, a stark contrast to your hunger. Its freedoms, a distant dream you never knew. The lack of rights shapes this legacy. You had no voice in Athens' assembly, no claim to its laws, your life bound to the elite's will, the landlord's power, the threat of debt, the specter of enslavement. These were chains you couldn't break. Yet your labor built their world, your grain filling their stores, your olives fueling their trade. The irony is bitter. Athens' glory, its democracy and art, rested on the backs of peasants like you, whose names were never carved in stone. Your endurance, uncelebrated, was the bedrock of their triumph. Your suffering, a silent sacrifice for a civilization that overlooked you. As the night deepens, the hut grows still, your family's breathing a soft rhythm. You lie on the mat, the cold seeping through, your body heavy with exhaustion. The harvest is stored, but winter looms. Its threats hunger, debt, disease, ever present. Athens' glory, its temples, its heroes is a distant dream. Your life, a cycle of labor and loss. Yet you endure, your hands steady, your heart carrying a stubborn will to survive. Your legacy, though forgotten, is the quiet strength that fed a world, a resilience that whispers through time, pulling you deeper into the miserable life of an ancient Greek peasant.